Hello friends, in this tutorial video we are going to implement the first person movement of the game together so that the player can move left and right, look up and down, jump and have physics and gravity. Hey guys, welcome to Developer Ninja. I'm Reza. Hit that subscribe button and let's build something amazing together. Okay, let's start by creating a 3D project called First Person Movement. You can add the game environment and object from the store to your project using the link I provided. To start, as I did, you need to create your game environment using the resources you added to the project. Now we will create the game player and add the character controller component to it and create its appearance with a 3D cylinder object. We don't need a capsule collider here anymore. We change the size and color of our character as desired within the materials we imported. We drag the camera into our player and change its coordinates as desired. Now it's time to code the camera, so we'll add the mouse look script to the camera. Now we open the script, but before we start coding, we need to take a look at the input manager setting and see the mouse X section. What we need here is a float variable called mouse_sense with a value of a 90 and transform variable called player body. In the update section, we store the X and Y mouse movements in the mouse X and mouse Y variables. Then we code the player's head rotation movement to the mouse X value. Here we drag the player object to the player body and run the game and see that the player's head rotation is working properly. Now we will code for the angular rotation of the player, so we will define a float variable with a value of 0 called xRotate. Then in the update section, we set the xRotate variable to this value. Then we say transform.local rotation equal quaternion.euler xRotate and 0 and 0. We forgot to put the minus sign here. Okay, now we test the project. As we can see, it is working properly. After the player rotates, it's time to code the player's movement. We add the player move script to our player and then open the script. What we need here is a character controller variable called controller and float variable called speed with a value of 15f. Then in the update section, we store the values of the WASD buttons in float type X and Z variables. Then we put the player's X and Z values into a vector tree variable called move. Then we write the code to move the player with the direction and speed we defined. Here we add the character controller component to the controller variable. Now we test the game and see that everything is working properly. Now we'll add gravity to our player movement and create a float variable called gravity with a value of 10f, and then create a variable called velocity with a type of vector 3. Then we set the value of the velocity variable in the update section and add it to our player's movement. We will also change the value of the gravity variable here. Now to test whether gravity works or not, we move our player up and run the game and see that everything is working properly. Now we'll work a little more on gravity to make the player physics look more realistic. So we'll create an empty object in the player called the ground checker. Now we drag the ground checker object to the lowest part of the player and adjust its coordinates. So here we define a transform object called ground checker. Then we define a float variable called ground test and give it a value of 0.4f. We create a layer mask called ground layer mask. We define another variable of type boolean called is grounded. Now in the update section, we will set the value of the variable is grounded. Then we say that if it's grounded and velocity.y less than 0, velocity.y equal -2. Now we will create a layer called ground for our ground layer mask object. Now we attribute the ground layer to the environment and its subsets. Now we run the project to see the changes and see that it worked properly and the gravity has become more realistic. The last thing left to implement in this project is that players jump. So we defined a float variable called jump val. We set its value to 5. Inside the update method, we say that if the spacebar is pressed on the keyboard and the player is on the ground, the player will jump with the force and gravity we define. Now we will run our project to see the results of our work. Great, everything is working properly. More awesome tutorials are on the way. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell.